viewers, this is Distinction Learning Center, the light of education. Our tutorial for today is still statistics in details, in which we are moving to the fourth lecture, which is construction of frequency table. Construction of frequency table. Now, what is the meaning of construction of frequency table? That is, this is just an act of constructing a frequency in form of what? In form of table. That is the act of organizing data into what? Into frequency in a table. Now, let's explain this particular section with an example. Now, let's look at this particular example here. This we should call example 1. The following are the scores. The following are the scores obtained by 20 students in a mathematics test. Explain. The following are the scores obtained by 20 students in a mathematics test. Now, that means this data, that is all these data, are the what? Are the scores of what? Of 20 students. Are the scores of what? Of 20 students in a mathematics test. Now, we have 7 scores. Some score 7, some score 5, some score 4, and so on and so forth. Now, this data, we want to use this to construct what? A frequency table. Now, what are you going to do? The first thing you will do is to first construct your score table, that is your score column. Now, that is this particular column here. So, will be for your what? For your score. Now, how can you generate the data for the score? Now, you will look at the minimum number on the data, which is what? 1. So, 1 will be the starting point of your what? Of your score. And you now look at the maximum number on the what? On the data. So that is what? The maximum number there is what? Is 8. So that means 8 will be the what? Highest number on the score. So that means you are going to arrange it in ascending form, which will be what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8. So that means 6 is not among the scores. So that is the reason why 6 is omitted. Are you getting it? So you are going to arrange the score from the what? From the minimum to the what? To the maximum. So do you understand? So that is what the score is all about. Now, the next thing is to now work on the tally. The meaning of tally is just for you to generate your frequency. It helps in generating what? Frequency. Tally helps in generating what? Frequency. So it's just the act of representing a number with a stroke. So it's the act of representing number with what? With a stroke. Now, let's start from there. Let's start from score 1. That is, how many students score 1? So how many students score 1? So now that means if you look at it, you have 1 here. This is 1. So do we have another one again? No, we have only 1. So you are going to represent it with what? With a stroke. So which will now be interpreted as what? As 1 here. So that is what we call what? Tallies and what? And frequency. Now let's now move to 2. So let's move to 2. Now 2 here is, how many 2 do we have there? We have 1 and we have 2. So that means we have 2. So 2 occur in 2 times. So that means we are going to draw 2 stroke. We draw 2 stroke. So that means if we interpret the tally, we are going to derive we are going to generate what? 2 frequency. Now, score 3. Now, if you look at it now, how many 3 do we have on the data? So 3 occur how many times? We have 1 and we have what? 2. So 3 occur 2 times. So that means 3 will occur 2 times. So 3 will occur what? 2 times. So that means we are going to draw 2 stroke. We draw 2 stroke. That is 1, 2. So, and we are going to interpret it as what? As 2. And how many times 4 occur on the data? So if you look at it, it occur 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So that means 4 occur 11 times. So we are going to first represent it in tallies. So that means we have 1, 2, 3, 4. And your 5 will now bisect the stroke. So 5 will bisect the stroke. That is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So when this one also get to 5, it will bisect the stroke, making what? 10. And this one will now make it 11. So that means we now interpret it as what? 11. We will interpret it as 11. So that means we have 4 occur in what? In 11 times. Now, how many times 5 occurs on the data? So that is 1 and what? And 2. So that means we are going to draw 2 stroke. 1, 2, and interpret it as what? As 2. Do you understand? Now, so that means 5 has been done. Now, the next one is what? Do we have 6 there? No. There is no 6 there. So that means we are going to move to 7. So how many times 7 occur? 7 occur 1 time. So if you look at it all through, so you see that 7 occur 1 time. So that means we are going to draw 1 stroke. You draw what? 1 stroke. You draw 1 stroke. So, and you will interpret the 1 stroke as what? As 1. And how many times does 8 occur? So 8 occur 1 time. 8 occur 1 time. So that means we are going to draw 1 stroke and interpret it as what? As 1. So this is how we construct our frequency table. Now, let's look at this note. This type of table is called a frequency table. Why the set of data as contained in the frequency table is called a frequency distribution. That is, this particular table here, is called what? A frequency table. Are you getting it? But the frequency data there, that is from this one, from this place, so all this data inside the frequency table is called what? Frequency distribution. So it's called what? Frequency distribution. So that is what this note is trying to explain. So do you understand? So with this, I have strong assurance and strong belief that whenever you see any kind of question on construction of what? Of frequency table, you'll be able to answer it appropriately. So please solve this question. So let's move to the class work. Please try to go through this particular class work and work on it. Make sure you get it before you look at the solution. So you're going to solve the classwork here. Now, the classwork goes like this. The following number are the scores obtained in a test by 18 students. That is, if you count all this data here, if you count this data, you will see that the scores are what? Are 18. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So all the scores are what? Are 18. So we are going to use the data to construct the frequency table for the above data. Now you are going to do it the way we did the previous one. So the first thing you are going to write is what? Is your scores. Write your scores. Your scores. So the scores, and draw a line here. You draw a line, and you draw another line for the tally. So the next one will now be what? Tally. What? Tallies. 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 Yes. Okay. Now the next one will now be the line, the column of frequency. Column of what? Of frequency. Column of frequency. Frequency. So column of frequency. Now you start from the scores. If you look at the data here, if you look at all the numbers on the data platform, so you will say that the minimum score there is what? Is 1. So since 1 is the minimum score, you will start from what? You start from 1, and the next number there is what? Is 2. You write 2. And the next number there is 3. You write 3. You write 3. And the next number there, do you have 4 there at all? Yes, you have 4. You write 4. Do you have 5 there? Yes, you write 5. And we have 6 also. I think 6 is the highest number there. So you stop at what? At 6. Now, how many 1 do we have there? So you start counting it. We have first one here, 1, 2, and what? And 3. So that means we have 3, 1. So you draw your tally, 1, 2, 3. So you now interpret it as what? As 3. So that is first one. Now second one is what? Is 2. How many 2 do we have there? You draw, you count it one by one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So that means we have 6 2s. So you now draw 6 rows. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5 we cancel the stroke. 5 and 6. You now interpret it as what? As 6. Now how many 3 do you have there? That is what? 1, 2, 3, 4. That means we have 4 3 there. So that means you will represent it in tally form. 1, 2, 3, 4, and interpret it as what? As 4. So how many 4 do we have there? We have 1. We have only 1 4. So that means you will draw 1 stroke and interpret it as what? 1. Now how many 5 do we have there? We have 1, 2, 3. So we have 3 5 there. So that means we draw 3 stroke. 1, 2, 3. So you now interpret it as what? As 3. So how many 6 do we have there? We have only 1 6. You have only 1 6. 1. So that means you will interpret this. You will draw 1 stroke and interpret it as what? as 1. So for you to confirm, maybe you construct it very well. If you total all these frequencies together, you must be able to get the number of students here. You must be able to get the total number of students here. That is 3 plus 6 is what? That is 9. 9 plus 4 is what? That is 13. And 13 plus 1 is 14. 14 plus 3 is 17. And 17 plus 1 is what? Is 18. So that means you are correct. So this is everything about what? Construction of frequency table, in which I have strong assurance that you will understand very well and you enjoy the tutorial. Please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Distinction Learning Center. I still remain Simid from Distinction Learning.